Hi, I'll be explaining the works done in this PR. Mm, Before I introduce the codes I've written, uh, I'll briefly explain what this PR is doing. Basically, this PR is solving this issue to implement the passwordless auth flow of this application. I use the Superbase's auth feature, and so it offers a passwordless email login. So that's what I implemented. So the basic flow is like this. Whenever user uh, access to a login page, and there is going to be a form which only has an email field. And so when user writes in an email into the email field and clicks a sign in button, the app will ask Superbase to send an email that contains a login link to the user's email. So the email is going to be sent to the user, and whenever user sees that email and clicks the link that was sent into, so the link will open our application website's specific route path, which is going to be auth confirm. So the confirm route will take a look at the link that user clicked, and the link contains a value called code as a query parameter. It takes the code out from the search query parameter, and it will send it to the Superbase and takes a session from there. So that's how the login works. Okay, that's the basic flow of the passwordless email authentication. Okay, then let me explain the code I've written. First, this is the one that I just explained, it's a confirm route. It's located after the path is going to be /auth/confirm. So when user clicks a link, the link points to this path, contains a code value as a query parameter. So basically, this route function here takes a search params from the URL and gets a code in it and send this code to the Superbase authentication server. So to do that, it calls a Superbase auth's exchange code for session function. So if nothing wrong happens, it'll take the browser takes a session so user can successfully log in. And after that, this route redirects to the user profile page for now, temporarily. Yeah, that's how the login works. But to send the email with the login link included to the user, it calls a sign in with OTP function, which is provided by Superbase Auth. And this function is called when a user clicks the sign in button in the sign in form. It takes an email that user written, and it has an option called email redirect to. And this is the our daily Scrum applications auth confirm URL. So the origin might differ by the environment, whether it's in a development mode or on a production website. Okay, so that's it. And next, I created a sign-in form, a simple sign-in form with an email field in it, so user can write email and send a email to the written email. So to create this form, I installed these two packages. The one is called hook form resolvers, and the other one is Zod. The reason why the purpose of these two packages are to add a form validation function. Zod is a Zod library helps implementing a form validation, and this resolver here allows to integrate Zod into the form. And here I'm using a React hook form, so I had to integrate Zod into the React hook form. So this code piece is the form component. Basically, it declares a schema that how the form field's value would look like. And the Z here is an alias of Zod. And here I declared that email field is going to be a string. It has to be a string and an email type. So it'll automatically checks the value matches this type. And the func component has a two props on sign in. When a sign in button is clicked, it'll pass in an email as an argument. And if something happens and if there were any errors, it'll pass an error message to it. It'll render the error message. So sign in card declared a form object with a React hook form. Pass in the Zod's form schema into it as a resolver. The default value here is an email with an empty string. Oh, and this use effect is the one that sets error message into the form's error message. And this use transition, this is used to show a loader spinner for the button when just right after user clicks a sign in button. It'll take a time because there is going to be a network round trip, so it'll take a time. So basically, when this on submit is a submit handler of the form element, and when it's called, it'll call a form, the React hook forms handle submit function. It'll pass values from it, and I call the start transition function here. And whenever this function is called, the is pending value here is going to be changed to the true. So when it's true, I'll show the loading state in the button, and whenever it's false, it'll not show the loading, and do all the logics that it requires to do, and pass email value to the on sign in function provided from the props. And after after the works are done in this callback function, the is pending value is going to change back to the false, so the loading ends. And rest of them are basically how the form looks like. And this is the button component, and passing a is pending value as a loading prop to the button. I just created a loading state in the button in this PR, so I'll explain that later. Okay, and that's the form I just created. And next, I created a Supabase client and middleware functions. And basically, I follow the guide document provided by Supabase. It's providing a detailed explanation and the code examples. So they're just fine. So I copied it from here and I pasted it into our application. Okay, so the basic the basic features of this code is that to create a superbase function. But as there are two environments for our Next.js application, one is a client side and the other is a server side. So we had to create a separate Superbase instance according to each environment. So to create a Superbase instance for the client side, I just import this create client a factory function and just call so then it'll just gives us a Superbase function that I can use in the client side. And for the server side, just import this one, located in the Superbase server file, and call it. It'll give an instance also and use that. But the difference of these two are that the server the server side create client has access to cookies, so it can it can get values from it or set a value to it or remove a value of cookies. These are two differences. Not two. Yeah, one differences. One difference. And next one is a middleware function. The reason why this code exists is that whenever a session is expired, uh, we had to get a new session and update it. So make sure the signed in user is not logged out. So to do that, it has to be done with Next.js middleware. And so this one is the Next.js middleware file, and it just simply calls a update session function, which is declared in the another file in the Superbase directory. Yeah, the the code here basically it's creating a Superbase instance. All the code here is written in here. It's a bit different than the creator function declared in here. I just copied from the Superbase document. And it works fine. And the important thing here, the important feature in this file is that it's calling a get user function to get a new session. Yeah, that's what I've done to the middleware. And for the last, I updated a button component that I just explained before. Let's look at it. It's now taking a new prop called loading. So whenever a loading is true, it'll show a loader icon, which is provided from the Lucid React package. Lucid. Anyways, it'll show a loading spinner, and it's going to spin. And this class is from the Tailwinds class. And also, if the loading is true, it'll disable the button to make sure the button could not be clicked. Okay, that's it for now. And thanks for listening.